So the first one is Apple. So you can see that Apple is pretty much have a climatic run. So we have a 3 leg up. So that's probably resolve itself out from the downtrend line here. So right after the breakout, so the breakout of this, both the horizontal and also the downtrend line, then it just kind of accelerate to the upside. So one leg, second leg, and then the third leg. So it's definitely a climatic run up and with a climatic volume as well. So look at this. So there's a lot of the volume on the way up. So a lot of the people actually unloading the stock as well. And eventually it kind of just forming a buying climax and have a change of character bar. This is a change of character bar. So right now it's probably going back to test the high. So that could be some form of the trading range that we can expect, or even some kind of downsloping. We don't know yet because it's still developing at the moment. But certainly is pretty much close to the all-time high level. And I think Apple is one of the important stock that actually supporting the both the S&P 500 and also the Nasdaq. So next one, the Microsoft. So Microsoft, you can see is this just doesn't really have much correction. It's very mild pullback. So that's after a very significant run up. So look at this. So it's just within the up channel, and this is the last leg up. So we have a climatic condition. Look at this, and eventually it's just kind of have a generally shallow type of the reaction, and at the moment is forming an apex formation, the triangle. But look at the triangle is a bit unusual. So why is it unusual? So usually the triangle formation is just like the contraction of the volatility. So both in terms of the price and also in terms of the volume. But look at the volume. So there's still a ton of the volume involved with this triangle, within this triangle. So it's kind of unusual. I think it's quite similar to what we have in the Russell 2000 previously, but at the moment is happening to the Microsoft stocks. So we just need to see how it will get resolved itself out from the apex formation. So right now it's still looking generally bullish, at least in terms of the price action, because look at this. That is pretty much the trading range is still developing, evolving. Maybe can still hang in there, and that will generally help the S&P 500. So next one, Amazon. Amazon, you can see it actually stuck within the trading range for maybe 1 year or 1+ year. So what is the context? So the context is just after a very significant run up. So the significant run up all the way from about 2000 to about 3006, and form a change of character and define the trading range here. So right now, although it has been lagging behind the S&P 500, so you can see that that is generally a downtrend compared to S&P. But in terms of the price movement, it just doesn't really go anywhere. Maybe we can just use the latest trading range. So it will just keep bouncing up and down there until it finds its way out. So this is kind of a neutral. Apple is generally still bullish, and with the Microsoft is generally still bullish, but the volume is need to be get some more attention on the volume. But Amazon is kind of neutral because it's just in a trading range. And look at this Google. So Google is another bullish stock, and despite the market is volatile, but we only see there is very mild pullback or reaction from Google. And in terms of the volume, it's just have a slight increasing of the volume, but there's no results to, not much result to the downside. I would say there is limited results, and you can see it barely just break below this commitment bar right here. So I think this is generally a very bullish sign. It probably can just attempt to break out to a new high as well. So next one is Tesla. So Tesla is certainly have a climatic run up. So there's a climatic run up or parabolic run up right after this reaccumulation. So we can see that is pretty much have a backup action unfolding and is looking generally strong from this chart alone. But we know that from this kind of the parabolic run up is generally not sustainable. So we're definitely going to see some kind of the reaction pullback for further consolidation. So it won't be too fast, even if it is a reaccumulation bias. So definitely there is a change of character. And at the moment, it seems like a downsloping type of the trading range is unfolding. And we have a strong support area right here. So this is the previous support area around 800 to 900. So right now it's probably going to approach the supply line, and maybe you can just have another move down, and we'll see whether it will still able to hold at this support area. So for Tesla is generally short-term bearish. And next one, Google. Okay, so this is the same Google, but it's a different name. Okay, so pretty much the same. I will just skip this. Facebook. So we can see that Facebook already kind of have this kind of the reaction downtrend, but has been stuck within this trading range for quite some time, at least in October. So there is a correction coming right after this uptrend, up channel, and followed by a change of character. So a reaction down. So probably is testing the support area at the moment, but I think it's kind of neutral at this point because it's still very much at the trading range, and I think can still keep bouncing up and down and traveling within the trading range. So kind of neutral. Next one, NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is similar to Tesla. So we'll have a climatic run up, so climatic volume, and subsequently we see that there's a lot of the churning volume. So this is kind of a bit of the uncertain at the moment because, like I say, this sort of the parabolic run up generally is not sustainable, especially under this kind of the market environment. Is generally a lot of the people will taking profit, but because I think this is generally a hot stock and there's a lot of the growth behind the stocks, and eventually it doesn't really drop much. You can see that the pullback or the correction is very shallow, so this is a very bullish stock at the moment. And despite that, we see there is probably like increasing of the supply. Maybe you can see this here. So generally supply is quite high, and especially there is a pocket of the supply like this at the uptrust bar. Okay, so right now probably we'll need to see how it's going to test the middle of the range, or at least this supply bar here. Okay, so whether you can just have another uptrust, or maybe you will just keep going up and test the resistance again. Certainly these are all the overhead resistance ahead, so from here on. So generally I have a bearish view for the NVIDIA because I definitely think that it needs to have a bit more correction, maybe somewhere around here. I think can develop its own structure from there on. Okay, so that's NVIDIA. And next one is the Warren Buffett company, the Berkshire Hathaway. So it has been stuck within this big trading range. So that's right after this uptrend. So there is a change of character, which defines the trading range. And you can see that recently is just attempt to break out. So there is a breakout attempt. So it's another one. So there is a breakout attempt, and right after that, it just have sell off, profit taking. So that looks like a sign of strength rally to me. And at the moment, it's probably a backup process unfolding. So we need to see whether it can hold right at this the level. So we have already seen the swing low. So let's see whether you can bounce off from there and then form another trading range. So generally, Berkshire is bullish. Okay, so next one is UNH, so United Health Group. So this is a monster stock. So it has been going up for a long time, and the trend is very strong. So you can see that there is quite a lot of the reaccumulation, another reaccumulation, Sino-Australian rally, backing up, reaccumulation, running up. So it looks a bit climatic at this moment. So if we compare it to the previous trend, it might be similar. So climatic trend, climatic uptrend, and this is also a bit of the climatic, and eventually sort of reach this and have a change of character. But look at the shallow type of the pullback. So it's still pretty much is a very shallow type of pullback. There is no effect, and a lot of people are not selling the stocks, and you can reflect it, see it in the volume as well. So generally, not much supply, and this is certainly one of the strongest stock. So UNH is a very bullish. All right, so pretty much that you can see that these 10 stocks actually are generally bullish, apart from maybe one or two, like Tesla, NVIDIA, which is short-term bearish, and maybe like Amazon is kind of neutral. But the rest, or maybe this one is neutral, the rest are just very much strong stocks and very bullish. And those 10 stocks actually accounted for about 30% of the weightage in S&P 500. That's why you see that S&P 500 is still very strong and is just probably hitting all-time high level or just 1 or 2% below.